Good morning. I'm Reverend Kathy. Welcome to Unity North Spiritual Center here in Coon Rapids, Minnesota. Whoever you are and wherever you are on your spiritual path, you're always welcome here at Unity. We are an inclusive community. We welcome and accept all people. We're also part of a greater worldwide unity movement. We are the publishers of the Daily Word magazine, and we've been holding 134 years of prayer vigil through Silent Unity, the prayer ministry of the Unity movement. So prayer is the heart and soul of Unity. Every week after service, there is a prayer chaplain who is available to pray with you if you need extra prayer support or just want to connect with someone in prayer. And today's prayer chaplain is John Lippert. He's waving to you there. Hi, John. Thanks for your service today. So you can just give him a call. His phone number shows up on the chat and in the announcements. And he's available after service for a time, usually at least an hour. And if you don't reach him, leave your phone number. He'll call you back. So thanks. Our team today, our production team, is Tracy and Martha. So welcome. And Howard Grinzel is our worship assistant, and we're glad you're back and here. And our special musician today is Claire Vanderkramert. So we're glad you're back with us, Claire, always. And now let's just speak our vision and mission statements together. Our vision first: centered in prayer, we create for all a world of love, harmony, and abundance. And our mission is celebrating spirit, exploring truths, awakening hearts, inspiring dreams, serving community. And the values at the bottom are our foundational core beliefs here at Unity North. Now I invite you to stand for our opening song.
Amazing grace, how sweet the sound that saved and set me free. I once was lost, but now I'm found. Was blind, but now I see. 'Twas grace that taught my heart to sing, and grace my fears relieve. How precious did that grace appear the hour I first believed.
Good morning again. My name is Howard Grinsell. I'm the worship assistant today. Reverend Kathy has welcomed us. Now we want to take a moment to just greet and acknowledge each other. We have people on Zoom who can't be here physically today, from around the country actually. And then of course those of us here in person. So we want to just kind of wave and nod and acknowledge each other. I would like to ask if anybody's here for the first time, excuse me, in person. If you'd like more information after the service, please reach out and contact myself or Reverend Kathy or one of the team members, and we can get your questions answered for you. If you're new and online for the first time, be sure to put your contact information in the chat, and we can get back to you that way. The information that you put in there will go directly to Unity North, and therefore it remains confidential, should you have any questions. We are so glad you're all here in person and online. And of course, we are all blessed by each other's presence, and we are right here, right now. As Reverend Kathy mentioned, prayer is at the heart of unity. And we know we can pray with words, acts, thoughts. And we can pray simply by breathing with intention. All of these are forms of prayer. So join me now in prayer, if you wish, as we start our service. You may close your eyes, slow down your breathing, and become calm and still. If I'm feeling uncertain or conflicted, I take it as a sign to move my focus from the thoughts of my mind to the wisdom of my heart. So, moving from our head to our heart, take another slow, deep, centering breath, breathing in with your entire body. As we inhale, feel the peace, love, and joy within. As we breathe out, gently release stress, worry, and doubt. From our heart, we offer prayers to and for whomever and whatever needs physical healing, mental healing, emotional or spiritual healing. We pray for peace in ourselves and our communities. We offer prayers of peace, hope, and love for all humans who call the United States their home and around the world. We pray all humans may see the Christ within themselves and others and treat everyone around them with the respect, patience, and tolerance that they are due.
We have a personal prayer request for Teresa. Prayers for stability and mental health and physical healing, and release of fears surrounding financial concerns. So we just hold her in love and light and give thanks for answered prayer.
As we continue to breathe with intention, we release these and all prayers in silence. We are all healed and strong, healthy and whole in our body and in our soul. We give thanks in advance for answered prayers, and we say, thank you, God, and so it is. Amen. Let us remain centered for today's daily word. Sunday, February 2nd, The daily word is look ahead. I look ahead with positive expectation. So many things pull in my attention. The things I must attend to, meeting the needs of others, and even my own pursuits and passions require my time and attention. Setting and working toward goals may sound like a dull undertaking, but it's actually an empowering path to spiritual freedom. Working toward a goal helps me focus and keeps me motivated. I call upon and claim my spiritual gifts of imagination and order to set my goal and plan to achieve it. I use my gift of wisdom to discern the best path and my will to make the best choices. This is the way I use the power of God to give my life meaning and make my dreams come true. I look ahead, grateful for God's presence within me. From Proverbs chapter 4, verse 25 and 6, let your eyes look directly forward and let your gaze be straight before you. Keep straight the path of your feet, and all your ways will be sure. The daily word is look ahead. And Claire will now prepare us for meditation.
In this moment, in this place, I remember who I am, letting fear and worry fall away from me. I open my heart and see there is only love. There is only love. Love that heals, love that sets us free. There is only love. Now, with every breath, I will find my way. When I go inside, quiet my mind, I hear Spirit gently say, there is only love. There is only love. Love that heals, love that sets us free. There is only love.
So I invite you now to sit back and close your eyes for meditation. Just take several minutes to breathe deeply. And as you do, just releasing and letting go. And feeling a wave of relaxation move through your body. As you say to yourself, I'm completely and fully relaxed. Allow me to speak the words for you, taking them in as your own. Today I remind myself God is always with me, and I am never alone. There is a deeper truth underneath the things I know. And I am part of a much larger picture than I can see. That brings me comfort and helps me stay centered in faith as I do what is mine to do and release the rest. Letting go and letting God is a dynamic process that empowers me to better focus on what is within my power to do and discern and what to leave to others. I do not have to control the outcome because I trust in the omnipotence of God. Letting go and letting God, I'm not giving up or admitting defeat. Rather, I'm giving myself over to the truth that I am a divine being living a human experience. I let go. I let God. I surrender to the divine presence within me. I am lifted in consciousness and freed from limitations as I accept the gift of grace. Grace is the power of divine love that helps me heal and overcome. It is the protective power that saves me from the full impact of any mistakes or unhealthy habits, the full impact of the world's challenges. As I quiet my mind and become aware of the channel through which grace and love flow, I open myself to that which is greater than I can imagine for myself. Grace flows freely, taking the form of energy to support me as I overcome, and that which I need to pursue higher dreams. I now rest in the silence to acknowledge and feel God's grace moving in and through me. God's grace is in the serendipity, the kindness, and harmonious resolutions that come my way from all kinds of sources. It is a reminder that even if I feel alone, I can never be apart from my divine source that blesses me, often in ways I could not predict. I release, I let go, and I surrender to God's amazing grace. And so it is. Amen.
This is my song, O God of all the nations. nations, a song of peace for lands afar and mine. This is my home, the country where my heart is. Here are my hopes, my dreams, my sacred shrine. But other hearts in other lands are beating with hopes and dreams as true and high as mine. This is my prayer, O God of all the nations. As pure light shines on earth, your will be done. Now all in peace may people come together, and hearts united learn to live as one. Oh, hear our prayer, now God of all the nations. This song of peace, now let your will be done. Oh, hear our prayer, O God of all the nations. This song of peace, now let your will be done.
What a beautiful song, Claire. Thank you. Scientist Fritjof Capra wrote, "Doing work which has to be done over and over again helps us recognize the natural cycles of growth and decay, or birth and death, and thus become aware of the dynamic order of the universe. Ordinary work, as the root meaning of the term ordinary indicates, is work that is in harmony with the order we perceive in our natural environment. Usually, we do not place much value in the ordinary, yet when extraordinary times come, we think again." An author named Margie Grounds said, "I learned this truth during an extraordinary time in the life of my sister Dorothy. I was talking with her on the telephone while she was lying on her sofa, incapacitated with terminal cancer. She was alone in the house because her husband was off to his ordinary workday, and her sons were in distant cities living their ordinary lives, and I was at my office on an ordinary weekday. And Dorothy said, if only I were well enough to go to work. She longed for an ordinary day. This brought me up short because I was wishing for a day that was not a work day, a day off. It made me realize that I really needed to be mindful of what I wished for. I could get what I wished for and find it was not what I wanted at all." Margie said, "Recognizing this truth did not make me change completely. Yes, I've learned to appreciate having the ability to work, and I've come to understand doing my work as a privilege. It's an honor to contribute that which I can do well, that which is mine to do, and that which is needed. But ordinary routine work, such as dusting, laundry, cooking, is difficult to appreciate. All too soon, it's time to start these types of tasks over again." The great Buddhist monk Thich Nhat Hanh would have probably said that those ordinary tasks teach us mindfulness, a true realization of the here and now moment. Not until Margie read the Capra quotation did she also realize that work, which has to be done over and over again, is capable of teaching something important. She said, I like things to be done once and for all. What an illusion that idea perpetuates. Suppose I could do something and it would never have to be done again. Suppose I did it wrong, and because the doing was permanent, I could never do it better. Because things need doing over and over again, second chances and thousandth chances are possible. She said, I can't say that I'm cured yet, but I do realize I have a resistance to routine tasks. That's the first step, isn't it? Awareness. And she said, I believe that God uses group consciousness to help all of us to progress. We are like mountain climbers tethered together. When one of us loses his or her footing, the others hold fast until the fallen one regains position. Then we progress again until another one gets careless or weak or just simply makes an error. Well, I don't know about you, but on Friday night, listening to the news about the firing of the FBI employees, including anyone who participated in prosecuting the January 6th cases and any agents involved into maybe the thousands, I was wishing for just an ordinary day. I was longing for a day when I could just take my country, my democratic country, and its government for granted. You know, last week I talked about the paradigm shift and crisis in our country and administration. And if I have to keep talking about it each week, it might begin to feel like the film Groundhog Day, living the same negative thing over and over in a deja vu kind of experience. But so much keeps happening that's beyond the ordinary. We should not pretend otherwise. So I will do my best to stay mindful, speak out when compelled, and yet keep some kind of balance in the midst of these times so we can all help keep each other stay centered and spiritually grounded. But back to Groundhog Day and the idea of doing something over and over again. Today is February 2nd, Groundhog Day. I think this is the first time I have ever done a talk on Groundhog Day. And the friend I've had the longest in this life, her name is Jill, and her birthday is February 2nd today. And we met when I was 5 and she was 3. We're still friends. And she's always said that when people have asked her what day her birthday is, she always says, my birthday's Groundhog's Day. That way nobody ever forgets it. And I've never forgotten it. I even sent her flowers again yesterday, send them off. So all her life she's responded to the question that way. And when I saw that this holiday fell on a Sunday, I titled my lesson today, Groundhog Day, since it made me think about doing things over and over again in regard to that which is necessary and helpful, like routine tasks or creating a new habit or spiritual practice. Punxsutawney, Pennsylvania, held its first official Groundhog Day on February 2nd, 1887. And according to folklore, if Punxsutawney Phil, the groundhog, comes out of his hole and sees his shadow, it frightens him, and he goes back down into it, meaning 6 more weeks of winter. I don't know, there's a little sun out there, isn't there? Yeah? Well, that means 6 more weeks of winter. He saw a shadow. So, as if we weren't already expecting that here in Minnesota. Of course, even the organizers of the annual Groundhog Day event in Western Pennsylvania acknowledged that turning to a large, jittery, inconsistent, reddish-brown rodent for weather forecasting is probably not a likely way to get an accurate result, but really mostly a way to break up winter monotony. Anyway, Groundhog feels accuracy was just 35% actually from 2005 all the way to 2024, according to data compiled. So that's not great accuracy. So anyway, we'll see. But Groundhog Day or days have come to mean a situation in which the same, usually negative or monotonous experiences occur or are felt to occur repeatedly with no change or correction. It kind of feels like that every day now, getting up and reading the news. Or it can be like a bad habit, for example. I've been dealing with a new, old bad habit, and that is overindulging in too much sugar, especially chocolate. Anybody ever have that issue? Well, I've been good for a really long time, but it began to take hold of me again in November when my stress level went up. Perhaps some of you might guess why, and perhaps some of you have experienced the same thing. Maybe not necessarily with chocolate, but something. Stress. I've been working up my intention to change that habit. I'm getting there. I'm not quite there yet. I'm getting there. But I'll come back to that. But let me summarize for you the film that brought the concept of Groundhog Day into our mass consciousness. How many of you saw that movie? Okay, very high percentage. So in case you don't remember all of it, it's a 93 American fantasy comedy film starring Bill Murray, Andy McDowell, and Chris Elliott. And it tells the story of a man who becomes trapped in a time loop, forcing him to relive February 2nd repeatedly. So on February 1st, cynical television weatherman Phil Connors reassures his Pittsburgh viewers that an approaching blizzard will miss western Pennsylvania. And alongside his new producer, Rita Hansen, and cameraman Larry, Phil travels to Punxsutawney, Pennsylvania for his annual coverage of the Groundhog Day festivities. He makes no secret of his contempt for the assignment, the small town, and the hicks who live there, asserting he will soon be leaving his station for a new job. So on February 2nd, Phil awakens in the Cherry Street Inn to Sonny and Cher's song, I Got You, Babe. Well, are you feeling like you're in some kind of weird? Okay, well, so he wakes to the song playing on the clock radio, and he gives a half-hearted report on Groundhog Punxsutawney Phil and the festivities. And contrary to his prediction, the blizzard strikes the area, preventing all travel out of there. And although he desperately searches for a way to leave, he's forced to spend the night in town. And the next morning, he wakes up once more to I Got You, Babe, and the same DJ bander on the radio in his room at the Cherry Street Inn. So Phil experiences the previous day's events repeating exactly and believes he's experiencing some kind of deja vu. He again unsuccessfully attempts to leave the town and retires to bed. And when he awakes, it's again February 2nd. Phil gradually realizes he's trapped in this time loop of which no one else is aware. And he goes to see a neurologist, and then he's sent to a psychologist. Neither of them can help explain his experiences. And then Phil gets drunk with the locals and then leads police on a high-speed car chase before getting arrested and imprisoned. And the next morning, Phil awakens in the Cherry Street Inn once again. Now, realizing there are no consequences for his actions, he begins to spend days, or we could say loops, indulging in binge eating, one-night stands, robbery, and other dangerous activities, including seduction and manipulation. And after a while, he becomes depressed and desperate. He considers ending it all, but finally surrenders and stops focusing on the loop and his plight, and uses his knowledge of the loop to change himself and help others. He saves many people, and he impresses the townsfolk with his good deeds. His ultimate transformation sets him free from the endless loop. So, obviously, that's something that can apply. A habit is in many ways like a loop that just keeps repeating. Anybody ever feel that? You know, it takes surrender and letting go and a new focus. A so-called bad habit can be like Groundhog Day. It's been said there are some steps to changing a challenging habit. So a man named Jeff wrote a list of his goals. His goals were make a healthy snack, go to the gym, don't waste time on the cell phone, read a classic novel. So just 24 hours later, Jeff was eating celery sticks while reading his favorite classic novel. His legs were really sore after a whole hour on the treadmill. Do you believe this? Probably not. In reality, Jeff was on the couch, one hand in a bag of chips, the other on his cell phone. The unopened gym bag and copy of his classic novel were sitting on the floor. That's more plausible, right? We all know habits do not change overnight, but research shows we can rewire our brain to change our habits. Many of you may have explored the topic, but I think it's always good to have a refresher. You know, someone said, I don't have any bad habits, I'm good at all of them. So we need to have the intention and ask ourselves, or rather claim what we truly want. Unlike these next two guys, a local priest and a pastor were fishing on the side of the road, and they thoughtfully made a sign saying, the end is near. Turn yourself around now before it's too late. And they showed it to each passing car. One driver who drove by didn't appreciate the sign and shouted at them, leave us alone, you religious nuts. All of a sudden, the clergy heard a big splash, looked at each other, and the priest said to the pastor, you think maybe we should have just written bridge out instead? So to begin, we have to be very clear about what we want to change, to let go of, or to improve. So here are 6 steps to changing habits. The first is to identify cues. Something has to trigger a habit, and a cue can be anything. Maybe stress makes you crave chocolate, or the sound of your alarm triggers you to keep hitting the snooze button. Identifying cues helps us to understand what puts our habits into motion. You know, so for me with the sugar, mainly chocolate habit, I think my trigger is really a time thing in a way. It's in the evenings, and it's a while after dinner, in the middle of the evening, and I'll end up searching for sweets. And for a while I thought maybe the refrigerator itself was a trigger, but I don't think so. I think the trigger takes me to the refrigerator. So we have to kind of get a handle on what's our trigger. And, you know, it may be fun and pleasure. It may be probably maybe some comfort on some level, you know, eating comfort food or whatever it is that you get triggered about. The second is disrupt. So once you know the cues, you can throw bad habits off track. If the alarm cues you to bash the snooze button every morning and to keep doing it, put the alarm clock on the other side of the room. Trekking across the floor will most likely disrupt the snooze habit. And I'm still working on the disruption idea for going to find something sweet. You know, I was thinking about, I have long halls in my apartment building. I was thinking, well, when I get the urge or the habit starts to take place, I can take a walk down the long halls, but I don't know that that's going to work. I don't know that's going to be enticing enough. I mean, you know, really wonderful chocolate versus a walk down a long hall. Which would you choose? So it's thinking about what's enticing enough. I'm thinking maybe a quick prayer or meditation will disrupt the pattern just in the moment. So the third is replace. Research shows that replacing a bad behavior with a good one is more effective than stopping the bad behavior alone. The new behavior interferes with the old habit and it prevents your brain from going into autopilot. Deciding to eat fruit every time your mind thinks cookie substitutes a positive behavior for the negative habit. So instead of grabbing the sweets, I'm considering maybe reading a chapter of an exciting book or calling a friend or eating something like celery or, no. Anyway, 4 is keep it simple. It's usually hard to change a habit because the behaviors become easy and automatic, you know, part of our neural pathways. And the opposite is true too. New behaviors can be really hard because your brain's basal ganglia, the autopilot part, hasn't taken over the behavior yet. Simplifying new behaviors helps you integrate them into your autopilot routines. And 5, think long term. You know, habits often form because they satisfy short-term impulses, the way chewing on your nails might immediately calm your nerves. But short-term desires often have long-term consequences, such as nasty, splintered, chewed-up fingers. Focusing long-term while trying to change some habits will help us remember why we're investing in the effort. So focusing on the idea that obviously too much sugar or chocolate causes weight gain or possibly other problems can be a motivator. And number 6 is persist. Research has shown that what we've done before is a strong indicator of what we will do next. This means established habits are hard to break, but if we keep at it, new behaviors will turn into habits too. I saw this cartoon of a woman. She looks like she's just staggering after having just gotten out of bed. She's got her bathrobe on and she's got a cup of coffee in her hand. And she says, I was going to quit all my bad habits. I really, really was. But then I thought to myself that no one likes a quitter. No, persistence works. And at first it might be painful to get up at 5 a.m. to do that jog, but soon it will become second nature. So let's check back in with Jeff. You know, he gave it another go with these tips in mind. This time he tossed the chips and he replaced them with veggies. And when his brain craved salty fried potatoes, it found carrots instead. He promised himself when he was tempted to spend too much time on his cell phone, he would disrupt the urge by picking up a book instead. So finally, Jeff kept his gym bag in the car so he could not forget it again. And that was his first step toward forming a 15 minutes on the treadmill during lunch habit. So our habits can be changed with a bit of time and effort. Healthy behaviors can become second nature. It's better to start with baby steps rather than plunge into changing the biggest habit all at once. It takes time to shift the autopilot within and also rewire the neural pathways. Though that may not be so true when it's something very addictive like alcohol or drugs. For example, I'm starting with smaller portions rather than just giving up every bit of sugar at once. I know from past experience, if I go full steam, then 6 months later, the pendulum will swing. So for me, moderation works better in that respect. But as I said, if you have a serious addiction, moderation may not be possible until later. Then you find replacements, positive, healthy replacements. But each of us has to find our own balance. You know, it helps to be patient and compassionate with ourselves. If we have a day when it all falls apart, does not mean it's over and we have to give up. It means we start again the next day. Excuse me. So the 2190 rule states it takes 21 days to make a habit and 90 days to make it a permanent lifestyle change. So is there a new lifestyle change that you would like to make? Commit to your goal for 21 days and it will become a habit. Commit to your goal for 90 days and it will become part of your lifestyle. Also, ask for support from friends or family if you are serious, since even knowing they're with you can help you stay on track. These everyday routines or tasks, that we repeat over and over again can become spiritual practice. For example, we wash the dishes mindfully, staying in the present moment, aware of how our hands feel in the soapy water, how clean the plate becomes, how fortunate that we have running water, etc. We bring any wandering thoughts back to the present moment. Or we do a walking meditation in which we feel our feet in our shoes and touching the earth. We feel the energy of the earth blessing us as we walk. We feel our imprint on the planet. We feel the stretch of our muscles with each step and the amazing way our body works and so on. So these simple practices over and over help us relieve stress and become centered in the present moment. I quoted Margie Grounds at the beginning of this lesson saying, I believe God uses group consciousness to help all of us to progress. We are like mountain climbers tethered together. When one of us loses his or her footing, the others hold fast until the fallen one regains position. Then we progress again till another one gets careless or weak or just simply makes an error. So let us continue to help each other deal with the larger collective issues of these times, as well as our own personal changes and transformation. I was sent a cartoon this week with a Statue of Liberty holding up an umbrella quite forcefully toward a lightning storm, and the caption read, "Don't despair, prepare." A good motto for all right now, wouldn't you say? And we don't have to do it alone. Others may help, along with, always, God's amazing grace. Thank you. Love and blessing.
So I thought it would be maybe a good idea to do something a little bit on the light side, because it's hard to change. And I've heard that the definition of insanity is doing the same thing and expecting different results. So this is a song by Robert Anderson. It's called Resolve to Evolve. Used to be so unhappy, life seemed so unkind. I went to see my
Rishi, he was a janitor at the time. He said, you're thinking like a one-celled zygote, acting like a dinosaur. You won't find no peace of mind until you learn life can be more. You can resolve to evolve, get on the spiritual path. You can resolve to evolve, give your brain a metaphysical bath. You can resolve to evolve, leave your mental baggage behind. It may sound strange, but the world won't change until you rearrange your mind. Your ego sits in the driver's seat, got a death grip on the wheel. Got the pedal to the metal, does whatever it feels. But consciousness is riding shotgun and says, slow this vehicle down. Time to check, time to select which direction we're bound. You can resolve to evolve, get on the spiritual path. You can resolve to evolve, give your brain a metaphysical bath. You can resolve to evolve, leave your mental baggage behind. It may sound strange, but the world won't change until you rearrange your mind. And you can't fly if the I mean my keeps dragging you down. And you won't grow if you don't know why you keep spinning around and around and around. You can evolve to evolve, get on the spiritual path. You can resolve to evolve, give your brain a metaphysical bath. You can resolve to evolve, leave your mental baggage behind. It may sound strange, but the world won't change until you rearrange your mind. It may sound strange, but the world won't change until you rearrange your mind.
Thank you for the music and today's lesson. Now it is time to bless our offerings. Of course, we bless those who are able to share of their resources. We bless those, of course, who give of their time. Those who help with the family table, family promise, those that help teach our children, and of course those who help with monetary donations. You know, we give thanks for those who bless us with our presence here today, and we are blessed by those who are online supporting our service. There's not one kind of offering, we believe, but rather a blending of all of these gifts that make us Unity North Spiritual Center. So please join me together. Divine love flowing through me now blesses and multiplies all that I am, all that I have, all that I give, and all that I receive. I am grateful. Okay, we have some community news to talk about today. As mentioned earlier, today's prayer chaplain is John Lippert, and the healing facilitator today is Susan Brettschneider. She's right there. I know most of you know this. If you haven't had or partake in a healing service or session, it's not to repair something that's overly dramatic. Sometimes it can just be a little bit of a reset or something like that. I believe in my experience, just spending some time in another person's energy field can be just a little twink that I needed. So it can be from fine tuning, of course, to a train wreck, but don't believe that it's just for the latter. So she'll be there after service out in the hallway. The men's group is facilitated by Noel Labine. There'll be one more meeting next Saturday. Our first Family Promise hospitality delivery to 6 families will happen soon. Today, of course, was the last day to bring your items in for that. And Kathleen thanks you for supporting Family Promise for Anoka County. The annual meeting is 2 Sundays from now, February 16th after service, about 15 minutes after service. The one change here is that there will be a Zoom link for those of you that aren't here in person, and for those of you that are, if you were to had something you had to do or needed to leave, there will be sure to get the Zoom link for it. It's different than the link for the service. So for those online, you will log out from this church service and then log back in for the annual meeting. Of course, that'll be followed up with some snacks and a light lunch afterwards. Annual membership renewal time, deadline's extended to Tuesday, February 11th. For those people here who are not official members, be sure to talk to one of us afterwards to see what that entails. It doesn't mean a commitment to volunteer. It doesn't mean a commitment to have to be on a committee. It just means that you're committing to be a part of this community, and it also allows you the opportunity to vote on items that are handled at the annual meetings. So don't be afraid of the word membership. There are no outward requirements pertaining to that. If you have any questions, please see one of us after service. A class is coming up. It's a 4-week class beginning in March. There'll be much more information on this forthcoming. It'll be presented by Carol Nistern. This will be an in-person only meeting. There will not be a Zoom option. The book, for this class is called The Religion of Whiteness, How Racism Distorts Christian Faith. One of Carol's quotes here, she just says, while it is a fact that religion changes and transforms over time, the changes in Christianity have been alarming. So again, there'll be much more information coming out on that. Yes?
There is a chance of Zoom now.
Oh, there is?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
I'm sure they will have all those details figured out before March. So thank you for that. We're doing movie night again. It's Car Deck. This is a movie it's a true story about a 19th century professor, actually, Leon Desenard Reveil, pen named Alan Kardec, and he wrote a book, he wrote a few different books, but the one I think that is, it's about Spiritism, which is the belief and the study of that the physical world and the afterworld are connected. So it's a belief system, I guess, based on the ideas of those two existences. I'm currently reading the Spirits book, and I've made it through the prologue and explanatory notes, and then I've gone back to the prologue and explanatory notes, and now I'm on the 3rd time going back to the explanatory notes. It's really quite fascinating the way it's explained, the definition of the souls and different things like that. So my personal opinion is I like to see a movie first and then read the book. If I read the book first, I go to the movie, I'm usually disappointed because the movie can never be as detailed as the book. So join us for that. This is a great film for Unity students. Now, we don't always realize that, that there were pioneers, hundreds and thousands of years ago that believed in this movement we have and the, a team of, creating that collective consciousness. Now, the movies, of course, are $5 and snacks for love offering. is appreciated. Now, I just wanted to say for these movie nights, the board initially was calling this an adult movie until they realized that that possibly could be misinterpreted. So they thought maybe a movie children might find boring, or a movie not necessarily for non-adults, an older person's movie, but not old as in not relevant to a current older, perhaps more mature audience, but that was too long. So none of those seemed to create the right message, so they settled on the content of this movie will appeal to grown-ups. So all the information for Carol's class, the events that are coming up in the near future, the movie night and everything is on the website. So you can certainly log on to our main Met website, and there's links there for all of this information.
Would you define grown-ups?
Yes. If you consider yourself a grown-up, then I think everybody has their own definition of that, right, Kay? All right. Well, please join me in the affirmation slide. We give thanks for all peacemakers. We practice peace and nonviolence. We envision peace in our country and peace in our world.
Thank you, Howard. Let's give him a hand. Great job. And I want to thank also our production team, Tracy and Martha. This perfect divine order today. And a special thank you to Claire, our wonderful musician. You always do such a great job with your music. And with that, I invite you to stand, and we'll do our prayer for protection and our peace song. Together. The light of God surrounds us. I am the light of God. The love of God enfolds us. I am the love of God. The power of God protects us. I am the power of God. The presence of God watches over us. I am the presence of God. Wherever we are, God is, and all is well.
Let there be peace on earth, and let it begin with me. Let there be peace on earth, the peace that was meant to be, with God as our creator. Family whole are we. Let us walk with each other in perfect harmony. Let peace begin with me. Let this be the